He is from the Philadelphia Eagles, thankfully getting set to play another season, and also the much more talented Kelce on the New Heights podcast. Jason Kelce, good to see you, sir.
Rich, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, man. You got the shirt, your branding.
Yeah, I'm trying to represent. I got my badge across my chest, I guess. But,
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And you have top billing. You have top billing as well with Jason and Travis Kelce.
That's right, yeah.
Is that a conscious decision or what?
I have no idea who made the shirt, but I'm happy that I am in front. I think that it's seniority.
It's seniority, alphabetically as well. Mm-hmm. We got all of that.
Yeah.
It is killing it, your podcast.
We're having fun. It's, we started it before last season.
Right.
And I've talked to my brother more than ever before. Seems like we're closer than we've been throughout our entire NFL careers. And it was certainly good timing to do it in the middle of the best AFC team, best NFC team, ultimately culminating in a Super Bowl. Good time to start a podcast.
Yeah, why did you guys decide to do that?
Well, we know that, for sure for me, our careers are getting close to being done.
Yeah.
And we had talked about it for a number of years. And I think really getting to know the right people that could make it happen, being at a place where we saw a lot of other current athletes doing podcasts and having success.
Yes, sir.
And, one of the big concerns is, is this going to be a distraction? Are we going to say things and it's going to be taken the wrong way? Well, now everybody is doing it. And it's a lot more normal and accepted league-wide, team-wise, and fan-wise. So I think seeing the acceptance of that, as well as just having the general interest of doing it, and then meeting the team that we have now to be able to execute on it,
right,
has all caused us to do it then. And then, quite frankly, I talked to Chris Long before the season, who has his own podcast.
Yep.
Green Light.
He's terrific. He was a regular Monday guest for us all season long and dynamite.
So Chris was one of my favorite players I ever played with. And only had him for a short stint in Philadelphia. Was fortunate to win a Super Bowl with him. But he, his biggest advice to me was, if you guys are really thinking about doing this, start it while you're still playing. Really get it established, and then when you're done playing, you'll transition into doing it more full time and everything after that.
Well, it's good that you're doing it now with Travis. I think the first few years of his career probably wouldn't have been a very good idea.
No, yeah, it's
when he was throwing flags at refs. And
that'd have been good for TV.
That would have been. Wait a minute. See this? Content. Now content creation. But it is a great piece of advice from Chris to say do it while you're playing, and then. Obviously playing this year against each other in the Super Bowl, it just puts it on a whole different plane, total different level,
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about content. There was a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
We had the two leading league MVPs playing for both of our teams. We both won our division, our conference, obviously, throughout the regular season, ultimately culminating in a Super Bowl. First brothers ever to play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, the storylines were incredible.
Through the roof.
Not just, for our podcast, but just the season in general. So,
right.
Really, really good timing for sure.
Plus, you're not hot takers. So I guess the only one would think the only people listening to your podcast, from the industry who might be offended are the coaches who Travis had no earthly idea who they were. Yeah. So maybe this fall it'll be just like. We'll find out the coaches that have the do you not know who I am in them,
It'll be interesting when Trav plays the Raiders and Josh McDaniels is on the sideline. Yeah. I think
he's playing twice a year.
He called me the moment they released it on social and he saw how much buzz it was getting. And he's like, man, I did not realize I went so hard on some of these guys. And, it was a tough picture. I will give him credit. I didn't think Josh McDaniels looked like Josh McDaniels at all. Well, when I was looking at it, and then multiple of the coaches, it's harder seeing him in the street clothes, looking into the sun, like all these things. And it's not the we're not looking at a 4K photo either.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that we have, you could see Dable top left. It looks like he's wearing a bandana, and it's just really his dome being totally roasted by the Arizona sun. But you're right, McDaniels. I didn't know he was that. What's the word for it? Wide.
Yeah,
I'll say
wide.
I was
going to say pudgy.
Almost
looks like a Ivan.
And next to him, Arthur Smith. We brought it up with Arthur Smith because he joined us a few days later. Arthur Smith is just like looking. I told him next year, can you just tell your face to smile?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah. He
look
looks
at him.
Like, I don't know what that
He said he just wanted to take the picture and get to his next thing. I'm like, what's your next thing? Like the first hole? Like it's the NFL, it's the owners meeting. Like, what are you doing?
And it looks like it's been the first time he's been outside in a few months. Like there's absolutely no color to him.
What did Travis call McVay again? He called it. Who did he call him?
He called him Gordon Bombay.
Gordon Bombay. Ducks. Yeah.
We made a reference earlier in the show before that one that Sean McVay looked like when Gordon Bombay had his evil stint with the Mighty Ducks, where he was a sellout and he was slicking his hair back and the shades and everything. He's cool for school right there.
Gordon Bombay. But for me, I'm always mindful of who's got shoulder on somebody. That's a Peyton having shoulder on.
Yep.
You got to get shoulder. By the way.
Your position.
Perfect. Since you're here for the broadcast workshop, whatever is it called?
Yeah.
Boot camp, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
In your career, whenever you're going to be if you're part of a team,
yes.
Broadcast team, got to make sure you get shoulder in the promotional video photograph. You got it. You can't just you guess. You gotta pull a McDaniels.
Okay.
Get both shoulders in front of somebody like that, right there.
Right there.
You don't look honestly, because
the focus is now on him.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Sean Payton, too.
Really?
I mean, they're both. I mean, that might be one of the reasons Arthur Smith looks so awkward is that he's getting double shouldered.
He's getting
Mike Tomlin's on his left.
Yes.
Josh McDaniels on the right, and he's kind of looks like he's a little awkward.
Well,
right
I mean,
there.
at least Tomlin's got a ring. You know what I mean?
Like, he's deserved that.
That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Jason Kelce here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, what'd you learn this weekend?
Man,
this week for the broadcast.
It was a humbling experience. Very humbling.
What do you mean humbling?
Well, I mean, calling a game. And
so you did that?
We did.
Okay,
I guess I'll give the rundown. So we did live TV game analysis color. We did live radio color. We did podcast, and then we did like a TV studio kind of debate show.
Okay, debate show.
It wasn't really a debate show. It was more like a pre Sunday countdown type show. Type thing, yeah.
All right. And so they would play a game for you to analyze?
Yeah, so during the TV portion, we were analyzing the last year's Colts Vikings game.
Okay.
Biggest comeback in NFL history.
Yeah.
And then the radio show, we were doing the Chargers Chiefs.
Okay.
Where Patrick Mahomes, my brother, ends up scoring the game-winning touchdown. So that was a fun one to call.
Oh, of course. So, and you noticed, obviously, there's a difference between radio and television. You got to be a hell of a lot more descriptive.
Much more descriptive, yeah.
Okay. There wasn't anybody on the Colts that they gave that game to call, because that'd be pretty rough. You know, I don't think
there
I'm
was.
like.
It was actually Rodney McLeod was there, and he was on the defense for the Colts last year.
Oh.
As soon as it got announced, he was like, really?
That is zero chill.
Yeah.
I'm sure Patrick Peterson's like, I'll call that game.
He was fired up for it, I'm sure, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, and that was probably the thing that was the most intimidating.
Yeah.
Because that's the most foreign thing. You know, the TV studio thing, we've all had opinions, and you go into it knowing what you're going to talk about.
On podcasts, you got down cold.
Well, that was fun, too.
Right.
But the, reacting to a stimulus or reacting to a play as it happens.
Yeah.
While you're also partnered up with a play-by-play person and trying to fit in a window within the pace of the game, like all of these external factors where you can have a plan going in on kind of what you want to hit.
Yes.
But you have to do it within the confines of what's happening in front of you. That was very, very difficult. And I think for sure the most humbling thing we did, but also I think it's probably the most exhilarating. I mean, when it's happening like that, your adrenaline's going, your senses are up.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think I when I was speaking to the group on Tuesday, all I've done in my career mostly is either here talking about something that's about to happen or talking about something that has already happened. Yeah. That's it. To be able to talk about something as it's happening.
Yeah.
While you're at the game, and it's your job to make everybody at home understand what's happening. Yeah. That would be more your role on it. Sure. But as the one who's just calling down in distance and trying to make it sound exciting if it's not. Yeah. Or just to shut up and let the excitement speak for itself. Yeah. There's nothing like it. I love it. Yeah. I do love doing that.
And I think the closest thing I've ever done to it was watching my brother do Saturday Night Live, which is live and happening right in front of you. And it was the same thing. It feels like it's game day. You know, everybody, it's not just you, it's everything. It's the hair and makeup people knowing it's game time. It's the studio crew knowing it's game time.
That's exciting.
The audience, it's everything's happening and everybody knows that you only get one shot at this thing. And I would imagine, we doing the games this weekend, we got a taste of it. I can imagine actually on game day with everybody feeling the same way. It's got to be a pretty incredible feeling.
Well, you did it too, right? SNL, correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had a very small portion, but I was a part of it.
A very small portion. You're on live television doing comedy.
Yeah. Well,
come on now. What do you mean, Will? were you excited for your? I mean, he's watching your bro.
Yeah.
You got to be proud of him. He killed it.
He did do a really good job, and he's one of those guys that when the lights click on, he rises to the occasion. I mean, whether it's football and big games, playoff games, he's just got that knack where I think when everybody else gets to that level and they're tense up, he has this innate ability to kind of stay even keel and knock it out of the park. And he did it during Saturday Night Live. I mean, that was his best performance, I think, throughout all of it. I watched him, rehearsing it when I got there. I watched the dress rehearsal right before. I watched him do the monologue 3 times and across the board. And of course, it's the one that you have the most amount of reps on, but that's the one where, it's going out live at that point. And he did the best job at that point.
He did, and he was very realistic in the American Girl doll sketch.
Yes, a little too realistic. Yeah,
he was. Now, but that was risky. That was risky, and that's the best comedy is when you take the risk and you nail it. I'll be honest with you; it was a very John Cena type performance in that skit alone. I'm serious. It was. It felt like he had that. He put it out there, man.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah,
that was funny.
He said that was the main advice he got from all the people that he had known, like Paul Rudd and guys that had hosted it. They all said, just go with it, man. Just have fun with it, roll with it. Don't be hesitant. Really dive full into it. I think he did.
And then we have this photograph from Vanity Fair here. Pop it up. Let's pop it up right here.
Look at that.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's always awkward when somebody with 20/20 vision is wearing glasses.
Who is this person?
Well,
what is it? Look at him.
It's my little brother.
Look at him.
Little big brother. I mean, it looks absolutely wonderful.
Look at him
on the 3-piece suit.
That's
Vanity
the Oscars.
Fair.
This is the Oscars Vanity Fair party.
It is.
Does this get brought up in the locker room, or
for sure?
What happens now?
It gets brought up in the locker room. We brought it up on our show. I prefer to make fun of people. I mean, that's the best thing to do.
That's the idea. Yeah.
But yeah, Trav is. He loves being at the scene. Vanity Fair is something that I don't think I would be very fired up to be a part of. So he wants to be the big time guy. But, I think, I'm really happy that he's able to go do all those things. And he's been, because of the Super Bowl and all the success he's had, SNL, all these doors are opening for him. So I'm really, really happy for him.
What was the conversation you had after the Super Bowl that you're willing to share?
I mean, on the field, it was more just, hey, great job. Happy for you. Go celebrate with your teammates. Because I knew if we would have won, I would have right away wanted to, been like, hey, I would have been upset for him. You know what I mean? So I didn't want him to feel that way for me. So I wanted him to cherish that moment, be there with mom.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I had the sad story out of that. So I think after a couple days, we sat down. I think it was just really happy for him in his career. Happy for a lot of people on the Chiefs. It was a weird situation when you're playing the coach who drafted you, your brother, all these people that you've, have had such an impact in your career personally.
Yeah. And
now you're playing them in the biggest game possible. So obviously really upset for our team. And it took me a couple days, quite honestly, to get mad. And, my initial reaction was very mixed and in some ways confused. And about 2 days after it, you're really thinking about, if I would have done this, if this would have happened, if we would have done that.
Was the holding call part of the mad?
No, because there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
I am upset at the things that I had control of.
Right.
I could have made an out call that on third down that would have solidified the protection and A.J. Brown's open. But instead, we don't convert. We have to punt, and then they get a huge punt return and take a big lead in the fourth quarter. Those are the things that I think about, and I'm going to think about continually. And that's when you start to really set in of, man, I think at first you're a little bit in denial. Then you kind of go to this like, woe is me feeling. And then there's acceptance. The typical stages of grief play out.
Yes.
And, my brother told me before the season started, we were doing a whole event down at the shore. And he said, there's nothing that, losing a Super Bowl will make you want to win a Super Bowl that much more. And, I thought he was just saying it for the crowd, something that sounds good. Travis known to do that. But no, he was, smack dab, dead on, going all that way, having the season we did and then losing it. It is such a crushing feeling. And next year's team, even though we're going to have Jalen Hurts back, we're going to have a lot of similar people back, have Nick Sirianni back, it's never going to be the same. It's always a little bit different.
Yes.
So for that team not to have that finality, it sucks. It does. And, still had a great year. We're very proud of the way we played, but there's nothing like having, I don't even wear my Super Bowl ring. I probably couldn't even tell you where it's at right now.
Come on.
No. I'd lose that thing left and right.
Your child's not using...
I take it to an event, it stays in my golf bag. I take it to a gala, and it stays in the glove compartment. And these things aren't they're obnoxious. They're not fun to wear. They hurt your fingers next to them because the diamonds are cutting in to your other fingers. Mm-hmm. It's not the ring is just a symbol and a level of finality and conciseness that you are the world champion. It's what it represents. It's not the actual thing itself or what it looks like. And for all those guys that were part of that team not to get one sucks. And so, yeah.
And that's part of the reason why you decided to come back.
I do think it played a factor. I don't think it should. I wish it didn't, but I do think that when you go that far and you get that close and it doesn't happen, I think your emotions and energy, I'm goosebumps right now, get going and you want to do that. It's close and the team is going to be good next year as long as everybody stays healthy. We're returning a lot of pieces on offense. So that all plays a factor. If it was a different situation, I don't know what the answer would be. I still think I would play. Yeah. I think the best advice anybody's given me playing, and he's given it to me in the last 4 years, and for some reason he has to keep reminding me of it, is Jeff Stoutland. And my wife has said a very similar thing.
That's your O-line coach.
My offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland. He said, Jason, you just stop playing when you don't want to play anymore. Like when you wake up and you don't want to play football anymore, stop playing. I'm like, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think I'm going to wake up and there's going to be a day where I don't want to play football. He's like, no. He's like, let me tell you, there's going to be a day you wake up and you're not going to want to do it anymore.
Well, it's also, isn't it part of just the prep it takes for you to be ready to play it?
Yeah,
the mental and the physical, where it's just like, I just don't know if I want to do that.
And I think
today.
that's what he's saying. Really, the physical part, knock on wood, wherever there is.
I got you right here.
I'm in pretty good shape for a guy going into his 13th year. I got some knee pain, some ankle pain, this, that. But it's really what you're talking about, the mental grind, the level of attention that you have to have on a daily basis to do it right. Yeah. Because part of my job is, one, being prepared myself, also being, two, prepared to put everybody in the right position. Center, quarterback, middle linebacker, and safety are the 4 spots on the field where you get to actively make other players play better or influence how they play just by the calls you make, just by the communication that you do. And to do that well requires attention in the meeting rooms, requires film study, requires communication throughout the week. And all of that takes energy and effort. And all of that ultimately, on some levels, gets distracted from other areas of my life. And you have to really think whether you're willing to do that again. And I think when Stout says, Jeff Stoutland, my offensive line coach, when he says, you got to figure out if you want to do this again, that's what he's talking about. Are you willing to make that commitment again? And if you're not, and you don't want to make that commitment, and you don't want to play football like that, don't do it. And I was still in a position where I felt like for another year I wanted to do that. And I do think losing the Super Bowl does play a factor, but I think ultimately I still want to play football. I still love that aspect. I love going and game planning with Jalen Hurts and our offensive coordinator now, Brian Johnson, and I'm sure it's going to be a blast. Nick Sirianni, That's some of the most fun I have during the week is figuring out how we're going to attack these guys. What do you see? They play this technique to the weak side. They play this type of technique over the tight end. I think this plays here. They're a shell, 2 high safeties. They're 1 high safety, and they play aggressive downhill. All of these things, and you're trying to figure out, and that's part of the things that I still love doing.
We got Jason Kelce here on the program. We just talked about you sticking around to play another year, and obviously your wife Kylie would have a large decision on that too, right? Correct?
Yeah, a part of it. Yeah, and hers was similar. That Stout said, she's like, and this is a little bit less. When you go to Super Bowl, you have less time to make the decision.
Yeah,
free agency's coming up, and even though Howie Roseman, our general manager, told me I have till the first game in a media snippet. Obviously, he wants to know what's happening.
Of course he wants to know. And, of course, your wife is all in. And it's certainly since how supportive you are with the newborn. Let's take a look at this video she posted recently.
Oh.
3 ways my husband was a tremendous support person while I was in labor. There you are sleeping.
She got me good. Yeah, I brought my own fan. She nixed. I wanted to bring a blow-up mattress, but she nixed that.
Okay, so you got your own fan. Here you are. Yep.
So yeah, this is.
Hold on. That looks really healthy.
It is.
All right, you're digging in. Well done.
I couldn't decide which.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I'm glad you were rested.
I mean,
this is great.
I'm getting some Z's there.
She was having contractions while you're sleeping here.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but
I figured if she needed me, she'd wake me up.
Here's the most important part right there. Yeah. Attaboy.
The highlight of the entire trip right there. Benny Llewellyn.
Look at you, bro. Now that's 3, and you have 3 under 3 and under, right?
3 girls, 3 and under.
Oh my gosh!
Hashtag girl dad.
The best, by the way.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
I've told this story a couple of times, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating it. I was having dinner with my 9-year-old at a counter, some pasta at a restaurant recently. We're having a great time, and I sat there, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I enjoying this so much? Well, obviously, I love my daughter so much, but it was also it had been so long since I had a meal with a female who thought everything I said was terrific.
It's a cheat code.
That's
a cheat code, yeah.
It's great. So plus, again, great husbandry out of you.
Yeah,
great job.
No, it was top notch.
Well done.
And,
well done.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm about to put you through the paces. You want to be part of the paparazzi? You're out here trying to learn the craft, even though you and your bro are killing it on your new Heights pod. Here's something for you. Shane Steichen,
yes,
new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to do 4th overall? If Anthony Richardson is there, do you think he's the whole idea is like, look what he did with Jalen Hurts. Look what he did with, Justin Herbert when he was a rookie and he was his quarterback's coach, a guy who can run it, a guy who can throw it. What do you think? What do you think?
I think he is going to go quarterback. I don't know which one. Anthony Richardson obviously wowed everybody at his pro day. Just unbelievable throwing the ball.
He killed it at the combine. I just saw with my own 2 eyes. He's unbelievable. And just so you're aware as well, John Beck, the throwing guru and coach, who's I think doing Stroud and Bryce Young.
Yeah.
He told me a story about how he was at an event years ago with a bunch of kids throwing. And he's wondering, why is this linebacker who knows so much about quarterbacking coming up to me and picking my brain about quarterbacking? And when he walked away, somebody said to him, that's Anthony Richardson. Give you an idea of his size.
The size and stature of him alone is impressive.
But knowing Steichen as well as you do, what do you think? What's the quarterback?
It'll be interesting because obviously he was with Phillip Rivers for a long time with the Chargers. And I think, then he was with Justin Herbert with the Chargers. And those are 2 guys that are drop back quarterbacks. Herbert can run a little bit, I guess, but what they're known for is sitting back there and throwing the ball. And I think, obviously, transition to this past year with Jalen Hurts, a much more dynamic running player.
Yes.
Certainly doing more run design plays where they're reading and keeping it, but still having a semblance of throwing from the pocket. That kind of feels where the league is going. I think with more of these guys coming out, like Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, all these guys that have incredible athleticism as well as a capability of throwing it. That feels where it's going. That being said, it's tough to say who. I think he'll take whoever he thinks is the best player, best quarterback, and then off of that, fit the offense. I don't think it'll necessarily be like, I want to have the dual threat guy. I want to have the guy that is the physically unbelievably gifted player, or I want to have this guy who might be more of a pocket presence, dialed in mentally, and he impresses in all the meeting rooms, and they think he can be a Phillip Rivers or I dare say Tom Brady.
So
one of those types of quarterbacks.
So you're counseling just because he crushed it with Jalen Hurts. Don't think that's the only style of quarterback he's looking for in this draft, is what you're saying.
Correct. I think he's a good enough coach that whatever quarterback he thinks is the best one that he sees eye to eye with, he thinks that is going to be the best leader, is going to be the most committed, is going to be the guy that can make all the throws. And I think he's going to fit the offense around the skill set that guy has. And it might be Anthony Richardson. It's tough to say without being in those meeting rooms.
We don't know. It could be Will Levis, could be the only quarterback left on the board who's healthy, that's got a first-round grade. And if that happens, they might sit there and go, well, let's see what Lamar Jackson wants to do.
How about that? Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going on in that situation?
I have no idea.
Sounds like Lamar wants out. Sucks that it's gotten to this point with the Ravens. I think, obviously, the guaranteed contract is tricky. Deshaun Watson contract has upended everything, it feels like, last year with the Cleveland Browns. And Lamar deserves money. I mean, he deserves to be paid like a premier quarterback. He's been one of the best. He's won games. As long as he's healthy, the dynamic generational talent he is, his ability to create mismatches in the run and pass. Because, with Greg Roman, obviously a very heavy run game, 3 tight ends. They're doing a lot of things that utilize his strength in that field. But you look at him in 2-minute drills, and similar to the way we kind of operated with Jalen, of utilizing his ability to run, and Pat Mahomes does this naturally just by escaping the pocket.
Yes.
Doing some design quarterback draws here and there, as well as being able to throw the ball down the field. I mean, Lamar has been a very good quarterback when he's had to be that passing quarterback. So can he do that more? So I don't know if guaranteeing that much money to a guy who runs as often as he does. I understand the Ravens side of it, but if I'm looking at it from Lamar's perspective, I mean, this guy's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I've proven it year in, year out. Nobody's the talent I am at that position. It sucks that it's gotten to this, and I'm sure that he would fit in unbelievably anywhere he was at, and a guy like Shane Steichen would be able to utilize those talents.
Jason Kelce here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, Christopher, are you ready to do what you do every Friday?
Let's do it.
It's a game we call What's More Likely, where Chris Brockman has 2, what would you say, theories or possibilities, and
scenarios.
you have to choose what's more likely. Okay, ready?
Let's do it.
We have outstanding production value to it as well. Go for it. Hit it.
What's more likely?
Hey,
Never say never, but never.
There you go. A little Mike Tomlin drop, as they say in the radio business as well. Mike with the NFL Films music, greatly appreciated. All right, Christopher, the floor is yours with Jason Kelce.
Breaking news. You have a brother that also plays in the NFL.
yeah,
He plays in the AFC West.
yeah,
You play in the NFC East.
yes.
Which division is most likely to have the most Pro Bowl quarterbacks? NFC East or AFC West?
Good one to start off.
This is a great one.
You didn't get this at the boot camp, did you?
I did not. This is a
Okay.
tougher one.
Okay.
I'm going to say the NFC East because I think not even just the AFC West, the AFC in general is stacked at the quarterback position. I mean, you got Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. You got Josh Allen in Buffalo.
That leaves one. That leaves one, and we know which one that's going to be. That leaves only one. That's Pat Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
And then in the NFC, right? You got in the
Jalen
NFC
Hurts.
East.
You got in the NFC East. You got Jalen Hurts. You also have
His name's Dak.
Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And then obviously in the New York Giants, Daniel Jones. So, AFC West, Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert. But then outside of that division, there's so many guys competing in the AFC. That's why I think the NFC East has the higher probability.
Jason Kelce saying, I'm going with my home division, but not because I'm a homer, but I'm giving you an idea of the way the Pro Bowl roster is put together. And there are so many others in that conference. I like it. Way to be a homer without being a homer. And also slagging on Daniel Jones, which I know you deep down want to. All right. You think he's a Pro Bowl quarterback, Daniel Jones?
I think he can be. I mean, I think Daniel Jones actually has more upside than what people think. You know, the contract thing, I don't know if that's quite. I mean, I think he needs weapons, and I think if he gets some weapons, he's dynamic with his legs. He can make all the throws, and I think Daboll has proven to be a really, really good coach. So, as well as my man Mike Kafka, who I played with in Philadelphia,
that's
I could see them doing some. Their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Daniel having a really, really good year if they put some weapons around him. Outside of playing the Philadelphia Eagles, of course.
Understood. What else, Chris? Next up.
We're in Los Angeles, and I'm from New England.
All right.
Which team is most likely to bounce back and make the playoffs this year, Patriots or Rams?
Jason Kelce.
Man. I'm going to say the Rams.
I told you.
And it all comes down again to the division they're in. New England's division right now, the AFC East, might be the toughest division in the AFC. I mean, the Dolphins, oh my gosh.
The Bills.
And then the Jets get Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this could be the most stacked division in football if that happens.
Okay.
Which is crazy that New England is at this stage where for the past 20 years, it has dominated that entire
He thinks
division.
the Rams are tanking.
You think they're going to tank? Well,
I don't think you can. Here's what I've said: you cannot tank with Aaron Donald on your team and Cooper Kupp on your team and Matthew Stafford being full go. The credit card bill has come due, and so you can't keep everybody. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I'm with you. I would choose the Rams over that too.
I just think the AFC is so stacked. And at the quarterback position, they're stacked. All the teams are so good.
Right,
the
and-
NFC, listen, Eagles are pretty darn good. But, you know, I mean, the division that the Rams are in, I mean, Seattle won it last year and snuck in, right? Like, it's just not, unless all these teams get dramatically better, the Rams are in a better position to make one move or to, for McVay to start scheming things up again and being the boy wonder he was when he first got hired, and he's proven to be throughout his tenure as head coach, to sneak enough games out to win them and get into the playoffs. I mean, maybe they are tanking. I know they had a lot of cap relief to do from this past year, but I'm still thinking they're in the better situation.
Did you say McVay or Bombay? What'd you say?
I'm sorry, Bombay.
Okay,
I apologize.
What else, Chris? What else you got over there?
Jason Kelce, congratulations. You're the Panthers general manager.
Ooh.
Quarterback you'd most likely take number one in a couple weeks. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. Well, you can't go wrong. If I'm the GM, first of all, I'm very happy that I hired Frank Reich, my former offensive coordinator.
I like your
Because
style,
I know I got a good
Jason.
head coach.
Yep.
I really do like Anthony Richardson. I think the physical stature, the dynamic ability across the board.
You just saw it in the Super Bowl. What I'm saying, what a skill set like that can do at the highest level if the guy is like Jalen Hurts, obviously. That's a big if.
Yeah, and listen, a big reason Jalen is so good, it's not just the physical stuff. He has all the mental capability. He's one of the most driven human beings I've ever been around. So it's hard to know whether Anthony Richardson, I've never met the kid, so I don't know if he has all that. But the traits are eye-opening, and when you have a guy that can do that and is that much of a physical specimen, and you can do the things in the run game, you can be dynamic in a spread-out offense where you get light boxes and utilize that. It opens up so many other things. It makes everybody else's job so much easier. It can be a huge improvement.
Well, if Carolina takes Anthony Richardson first overall, it would be such a noise coming out of Kansas City. It would make Travis Kelce's music festival sound like a library. If that happens, that would be wild. What else you got over there, Chris?
We talked about him earlier. The most likely playing spot for Lamar Jackson this year, Baltimore or the field?
Baltimore or the field, anywhere. Man, I think it's going to be Baltimore.
Me too.
And I think Baltimore was really, really smart to put this unrestricted franchise tag on him, because this allows him to see what his value is and allows the Ravens to see what that value is. And I think I got to think that the Ravens already did that homework. I hope that they're smart enough that they already know what that value is, and they've already talked to other GMs.
I know and I don't know if you were told this at the broadcast boot camp. I mostly like to ask questions I already know the answer to.
Oh, okay.
On this show. No, so if you're the Ravens, you'd like to already know what much of the answer is going to be.
I mean, I got to think when they put that tag on them, they've already done their homework, and they already feel very confident with the offer that they've given Lamar.
Yes.
And I think once he sees what the value is, where he's at, I think that maybe there'll be some rekindling of spirits there, and he'll end up still in Baltimore.
Rekindling of spirits sounds like that house band, right? That you know, your friend's like, hey, I'm playing. My boys are playing Rekindling of Spirits. We're playing this weekend. You want to come by? I like it, though. You got one more, Chris, or we got two more?
Of course we have one more.
Okay.
Who's more likely to pick up the tab at dinner? You or Travis?
Oh.
Great question, Chris Brockman. What's more likely, Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce? Who picks up the tab? What do you got?
Depends on what city we're in. If we're in KC, Trav almost always picks it up. If we're in
Almost.
Philadelphia,
Did you hear almost?
I heard almost.
Yeah.
So it's not 100% hit rate on the check in Kansas City? Wait a minute.
I think every time I've been out with him, it's been 100%. I'll say it's 100% in Kansas City. Trav gets it. I get in Philadelphia. Outside of that,
Neutral site. Let's go neutral site. We're neutral site.
Neutral site.
Who picks it up?
Man, I think I'm going to get it. I'm getting the tab. I mean,
because you're the older brother, or do you have the
I think
famous
it's because I'm the only
check picking drop, Mike? You got that one? Because we have this drop. Is this Travis when the check comes due?
I got this. Just gotta reach the check.
Is that it? Right? That's Travis?
That's the effort. That's the effort level. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm going to start pulling the maneuver of giving the card to the waitress before the check has come. I think that's the only way to guarantee you pick it up.
Good one, Chris.
Last one.
Oh, you got one more? Okay.
We don't have the one more
Very
drop,
good.
though,
Okay, good. What else you got?
Most likely thing to happen first. You put back on the mummer's outfit or we shave the beard.
Man.
Look at that photo on the right. What year is that?
That is, unfortunately, when it's my third year in the league.
So it's
off season.
So this beard's a decade old, is what you're saying?
Yeah. And I'm going to be fully honest. It's a much higher percent chance I'm wearing the mummer suit again. As you can just see with that picture of me beardless. I'm not going back to that anytime soon.
Hold on a second, though. My 9-year-old daughter is begging me to shave the beard.
Really? Doesn't like it?
Stop.
Why doesn't she like it?
I don't know, because it's
Is it
itchy. I don't know. She just doesn't like it. You know, that's when her mom steps in and says, it's staying.
Did you, when you shaved it and you had the 5 o'clock or the little stubble, did you ever rub it on it? Because my dad used to do that to me all the time. He'd shave his beard, had the little stubble coming out, and then he'd rub it against my belly like it was like sandpaper. And it used to drive me crazy. So I would think if you did that, maybe she would like the beard. So maybe you can train her, shave it, get the stubble.
I don't think so. She wants
negative
it
reinforcement.
So again, he says it's more likely to put on the mummer's costume, not because you're puffing your chest out saying you're guaranteeing a Super Bowl win. It's just the baby face is so unacceptable for you or your wife or just for society in general.
Me.
Okay,
Yeah,
look at
I mean,
that
it's
picture.
just a bad look, especially the butt. I mean, it's not a good photo.
The butt chin.
Yeah,
I didn't know you had one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I hopefully, well, now everybody knows, but hopefully nobody will see me and know, and that's why I have a beard.
Understood. So, I'm allowed to say these things. I think you're going to the Hall of Fame, and your brother's on path to the Hall of Fame. But the neat part about all this is neither of you are the first Kelce in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is, in fact, Donna.
That's right.
Whose jersey
Mama Kels.
that you and Travis signed. I love you. So you wrote "Love You, Mommy," or is that
That's
Travis? Travis wrote that.
I don't call my mom or dad mommy or daddy anymore. I grew out of that phase. Travis.
There you are. Love you, Mama.
Mama. Mama is the grown-up son. Mommy is the little brother. He's still pulling at those heartstrings from mom.
So true. So Donna's jersey is in the hall.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, they reached out to to Mom to put that in. Very nice of the NFL. You had my mom and dad on during the Super Bowl on this show. And, I've said this multiple times, but I'm just so happy that my mom got to share in that entire week with us.
Yeah.
My dad as well. It was a great moment for our family. And more importantly, it was just awesome to see them celebrated on that kind of stage because we know everything they had to put up with.
Yeah.
And all the things that all moms and dads have to put up with. And, for that jersey to be in the place where all of the most important history of the game is stored and celebrated in
your home state.
Yeah, in Ohio, it's pretty awesome, and really happy the NFL's done all this for our family. And in 1 week, my mom did more media appearances than I did in 13 years.
It's amazing.
So yeah, it's pretty.
That was great, and I just love seeing that jersey in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
That's right.
The first Kelce in Canton, Ohio, is Donis Kelce, back here on the Rich Eisen Show, still with Jason Kelce. Our radio audience just returned, and we were talking about how your folks were on our Super Bowl show. It was we put them on our special on the Roku channel, and that show did gangbusters, and it was great to have them there. And we've had parents on before, but Chris, I think you've been here since Jump, and TJ, you've been here, and obviously Mike, you can attest. I believe Donna Kelce was the first parent to show up with a promo code for pizza, right? Right? Correct?
I think that's true, yeah.
You made your mom promo code worthy, man.
It was
You
remarkable.
and Travis, look at you, another achievement. The first.
She was not only that, she was sponsored by like Bud Light. She had the first beer sponsorship of I couldn't even get the beer sponsorship first. Yeah, no, she beat all of us.
Oh my gosh. Fantastic. I love it. And so I appreciate you coming in here, man. The only thing I wish is that I wasn't sitting, that I wish I was walking around, since you pointed out I walk so elegantly when I was on New Heights Pod. Really? I mean, honestly.
I'm not making that up. When the moment you walk through, and it might have been the turtleneck, the black turtleneck.
Yeah.
It almost was like your head was like floating, and it didn't like go up or down. It was just like a solid movement. And I was already intimidated.
Get out of here.
I swear to God, I was already intimidated going to interview one of my childhood icons, Rich Eisen.
I am a childhood icon.
You are, for everyone who was born in my generation and brought up watching SportsCenter in the golden era of sports reporting. I'm not making any of this up. And it was insane for me to be able to do that. And so I was already interested in what you were going to look like. And the moment you came through the door, I was like, it was like magical. I'm not making this up, man, at all.
Why aren't you chiming in? How am I when I walk in every day? Is it magical? Am I elegantly walking in
No,
here?
you're like on the phone, you're pacing around, you're yelling at somebody.
Magical.
In regards to your show, I thought you were going for a Steve Jobs or like the SNL Sprockets look. Like it was really, I didn't understand.
It was cold. It was cold. It's Indianapolis. It was cold. It was rainy and cold.
You had a jacket? You didn't have a jacket?
What's wrong with the turtleneck? What's wrong with the turtleneck?
Are you Elizabeth Holmes? What's
Definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. Are you done with the turtleneck, Keelan? I think I'm elegant. I think I'm an elegant walker.
Elegant.
I appreciate that.
Jason, if there's a question I can ask you, because it's always, I found it funny. You and Travis grew up in the same house, and yet you just seem a lot different. I know you were in the jazz band, right?
Yeah.
You play guitar. You see, maybe he's listening. Travis seems like all he did was listen to hip hop and R&B. Like, how did you two like come from the same spot?
Different?
It's just seemingly so different with the way you just seem to approach everything.
Let me tell you, we grew up in a very diverse area. We grew up in Cleveland Heights,
You can
Ohio.
just talk to me in the monitor there. That'll make it easier on you. Yeah.
So, yeah, we grew up in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and I mean, you want to talk about a melting pot, a great representation of people from all walks of life in one suburb of Cleveland. You know, we got exposed to everything. And you know, it's a very liberal arts forward district. Everyone starts with an instrument. When you're 4 years old, you start with the recorder, or fourth grade, you start with the recorder in third grade. You have to do some semblance of music by the time you're in middle school, whether it's choir or band, all sorts of extracurriculars. from dancing to sports. For me, I played jazz. My brother sang. He played trumpet for a little bit. Didn't have the energy or focus for it.
Please tell me there's video of him playing the trumpet somewhere.
There's certainly not that I have seen.
I can call Mommy.
Mommy would know.
Mommy would have the video.
Mommy would have it. He didn't stick with it very long. And, I think it ultimately, for whatever reason, Travis was drawn and really liked and fit in with the hip-hop culture. And he played basketball, so he's all about shoes. Like all he cared about was having the new Jordans or whatever basketball shoe. And I used to get pissed off because I would be wearing Skechers, and the entire high school would be clowning me. Like, what are you doing wearing Skechers? And luckily I was a really good athlete, so they couldn't do it too much. But
yes.
I mean, every race, religion, background, it was a wonderful place to go and be exposed to all sorts of things. And I just, Trav has always been kind of that way, and always into dancing and being in the spotlight and fashion. And I wear New Balances and
your father of 3 chowing down egg sandwiches while your wife's in labor, and he's standing there on the red carpet at Vanity Fair playing with American Girl dolls on Saturday Night Live. God bless your parents, man.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled that you're here, too. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you,
you so much. New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce. It is on fire. It is must listen to. I had a blast doing it. Please have me anytime you need a guest or want a guest or anything like that. I'll do it. I'll do it. And say hi to your brother for me, because I think he's forgotten who I am now that he's taken off.
I can guarantee that is not the case.
Okay. I like saying those things. Say that again?
Should we FaceTime Travis real quick?
Well, we're out of time. We got 5 more minutes. 5 more seconds. All right, very good. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.